All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Saturday afternoon. I'm trying to find a good spot to put my microphone. Um, Let me know if that sound quality is okay. So, what do we got going here? Well, we got a little bit of everything going on. This is my first video for Mr. Mean Paints, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. I'm still getting new to all of this. I'm setting up my paint table. This is just kind of a trial video, um, just to show you what I got going on. I'm trying to see what all is in the frame and what all I can get further in the frame. And I think that's going to be good. All right, so I've got a sprue here of a Stormcast Eternal. I'm not into Age of Sigmar, but this was a free miniature, and I think tonight we're gonna just cut it off the screw, put it together. These are push fit. You do not have to glue them together, but I've got a little Tamiya extra thin glue here, so we're gonna glue it together just because I like them together. We're gonna sand it a little bit, and we're just gonna have a little sit and chat here. So unfortunately, you guys can't see me. I don't have a way to set up dual cameras without tearing a bunch of crap apart. I'm just not going to do that. So I have this posted up on my big screen, and what I'm doing is I am just glancing over every so often to check out the big screen. So pardon me if I seem a little distracted because I want to be able to um, make sure I can see everything and all that fun stuff. There was a way, full screen, there we go. Boop, there we go. Now I can see big on that screen. Get the mouse out of the way. So you can see the sprue here. We're going to put that off to the side. I wanted to go over a couple of hobby things. Again, there's a video uploading right now as we speak, and I'm not even quite sure if it's up yet. I believe it's still working. But the point I wanted to make is that I'm not here to teach anybody anything. I am a neophyte, maybe slightly above a neophyte. I paint for my pleasure. I don't paint for Golden Demon. I don't paint to win contests. I paint for fun. I find it very relaxing, very stress free. And so I want to make sure that I get that across very clearly. I am not a amazing painter by any way, shape, or form, but I paint to have fun. But I also do like having good tools, and you know I'm definitely open to constructive criticism. I'm a big fan of Red Grass Games and their materials. So these are their nippers, Red Grass Games right here. They come with this little protective cap. These nippers are amazing, as you can see them. They've got a nice spring to them. They're not super springy. I don't think I've broken the tip on them yet. I hear that is something that is easy to do, but I see that they're still in good shape. I just moved into this house back in the end of October, and this is finally got my painting desk all set up. And now the video that is uploading right now is kind of a walkthrough of my painting setup. So, but I wanted to get a little bit of work done tonight and just kind of as an intro and get the creative juices flowing and get me excited about this. I'm already super excited, but I'm looking forward to this. So I wanted to just kind of break the ice on the channel there, so to speak, and get the first true video out of the way. So some of the tools that I find extremely useful are these sanding sticks. They're bendable, they're pliable, they're soft. And they come in a bunch of different grits. I didn't leave the pack out like a dummy. I should have. You can buy these off of Amazon, and you just look for the sanding sticks. They are amazing. The other thing, God, these are older than in two of my three kids. I have had these since I did demo work for Reaper Games way back. Let me check the date here, and I can give you an actual date because I know it's when this book was printed. Um, June of 2009. So no, not older than my oldest boy, but definitely older than my current son Norby. This is I'll put it under there. Let me do it this way so you guys can see it. Um, I can't get it in without knocking stuff over here, but this is uh, Warlord 2nd edition. I'm going to be painting up some miniatures on the channel for that. I've got a bunch of dwarves from Reaper that I want to get painted up. They're really cool miniatures. So I wanted to go through a couple of the things that I use and show off. We're not going to get any painting done tonight, so if you're coming here hoping to see actual painting, well, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But I'm going to show you a couple of things, some do's and don'ts maybe, and things like that. So I just wanted to show the difference between the sanding stick and the metal sanding stick. This is obviously going to last you forever. This is of limited use, but it does work very well. This is amazing. You can see this thing is 20 years old. I've had this before 2009. I had this ever since I painted my first miniature, because back in the day that's all you could buy was these. They didn't make these. That's just a little nostalgia there for you. Put that back in the paint stand because we're going to use this one tonight. So like I said, the red grass clippers, these are about $30 to $40. Maybe you can find a coupon or whatever. They are a little bit on the steep side. This is Tool Shop. This is another pair of nippers, and actually they're holding up pretty well. I see a little ding in there, but you can see they're beveled. I don't know if I can get that in the camera angle there. Yeah, they're beveled a little bit, just like the red grass ones are. You can see the red grasses have a slight bevel to them. I'll put these next to each other. And you can see, obviously the red grass ones aren't as beveled, and the spring isn't nearly as tight, which I like, because it's less fatigue on your hand. And it's little things like that. When you spend a 4 or 5 hour painting session, sometimes longer, having a really strong spring like this, and you're snipping, 100 plus miniatures out, this can get real tedious. But I wanted to show you that this is like a couple of bucks at your local hardware store. So you don't need to go spend $40, $30 on a super duper cutter. You can spend as little as $5. I think this thing was $2.99. But you can tell. I mean, look at that. I mean, but it is sharp and it does work very well. But I'm gonna set that off to the side because I'm not using those tonight. I'm gonna use my red grass. Did my video lock up? Nope. I was just moving too fast. There's a little bit of a delay. There we go. Sorry about that. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that I'm going to be working on. Like I said, we got this Stormcast Eternal guy we're gonna snip up and put together. Here is the Swampkin that I put together. I did this at work one day on my lunch break. That's how quick this thing went together. This one is push fit, and the way they did it was really ingenious. You can't see where any of the like where it push fits together. They did a really great job, and I really like these swamp goblins. If anybody has extras of these and you wanna offload them, let me know. I'd be willing to buy them from you, as long as they're not put together or painted. I don't like stripping minis. I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to do that. But I do want more of those. Some of the glues I use, like I said, Tamaya, extra thin, and then of course Model Masters liquid cement with this handy dandy applicator on here, which is phenomenal. I think I'm gonna pull this camera out just a little bit more. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna raise it up just a wee bit, and then I'm gonna pull this out just a smidge. Get it as straight as I can. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, there we go. So sorry about that. We're, like I said, still a work in progress, so please bear with me. So these are the two plastic cements I like to use. You want to use this stuff in a well-ventilated area. It does give off some fumes, and it says right there, vapor harmful. I get these at Hobby Lobby. There's one here in town in Duluth, so good place to get it. Let's see, what else? Oh, another indispensable tool that I cannot live without. My cheaters. These are awesome. These are Dice Foes, Dice Fios, Dicafos. I don't know how you want to say that. What's neat about these is they have a light, and I don't want to blow out the camera, but you can see there's a nice light there. So, and then they come with a pack. That's just blue tack on there, guys. Don't get worried. It comes with a pack of 5 lenses for different thicknesses, and I think it's let's see, is, I think one, and it just goes up. But there's 5 of them in here. Obviously, you can see how thick they are. Some of them are a little higher resolution than others. What is this one? This is 3.5, so and it goes down from I think 1.5. It starts at 1.5 and goes all the way up, or 1.0. I hardly ever use these, but 1.0. So yeah, so these are handily dandly. I bought these on Amazon again. Don't buy the hobby ones that they want to. You'll see it on. I see this on Facebook all the time. They want to sell an exact set like this. A lot of them don't have the light on it, but they'll sell these on Amazon for like $60, or excuse me, not Amazon, on Facebook, and they'll take you to a link to some Chinese place that's selling hobby materials, and they'll want to charge you, $40 to $60. I got these things for $21 on Amazon. That's how cheap they are. And like I said, they're a little front heavy. You don't want to wear them for a super long period of time, but there is a nice cushion here. It does take some batteries, and they work amazing. And if I remember correctly, I think it's AAA batteries. Let's see if we can get it off here without killing ourselves. There we go. Yeah, AAA batteries. It takes 2 or 3 AAA batteries. So just be aware. Um, but yeah, it clips back in there. Pretty comfortable to wear. I had to take the rubber. There was a little rubber seat in there, but it pulled my hair. I have long hair. If you have short hair, no big deal. But I have long hair, and it was pulling my hair really good. So didn't like that. So set those off to the side. They have a little light. They're super handily dandily. Then I wanted to just give you guys a brief look at what I'm going to be working on and the stages of things. These are also from Redgrass Games. These are their handles. They spin. They're ergonomic, so you can hold them in the hand. If you paint left-handed, or I'm a righty, so I paint right-handed. And you can see this is one of the miniatures I'm working on. This is not a VIP, what a person of interest. I forgot what they call them in Infinity. Um, but these things are awesome. As you hold them, you can spin them. You just put a little bit of blue tack on there. It comes with some putty that you can put on there. The other thing is they're magnetized. So if you use them, I don't know if you heard that click, but you can use them with Redgrass Games. They have a magnet, and you can put them on there. And I think I have another one here. Yeah, and right there. So you can put it on there. So those work great, but again, these are, I want to say they're like, I don't remember what the price is. They're $10 or $15, and you get like you get 1 or 2 of the caps, and like I said, they do come off, and then they are allowed to spin on there, and the handle's slightly weighted, and there's a magnet in the bottom, so it will adhere to a magnet, and they send you the magnet as well. So here's another one. This is the early prototype from the Kickstarter. I got it because I backed the first one on Kickstarter. You can see the thing is blue, and most of my caps are, I think, well, I got 3 black and 3 blue, I think, yeah. So, but they get spray painted because you can use it to spray paint and stuff. But here's a dwarf I was working on. So you can see I was just doing a little slap chop. So I'm going to finish painting this guy up. But I just wanted to show you the stand. Here's another Infinity. This is the Bounty Hunter. I'm going to slap chop him and get him painted up as well because that's a phenomenal model. A big backpack on, but I got him all dry brushed and everything, so very happy with him. But the neat thing again is you don't have to spend all that money. Here's an old medicine bottle. Those are the, and if I just take this off, this little plastic jar, my wife used these little, they come these little caplets. For like vitamin E or something she puts under her eyes at night, whatever. And then that's just some washers in there to give it some weight. But this I found fits in there perfectly. And then you just put you put some blue tack on, and you put this onto the top, and now you got just as good of a miniature handle. And as you can see, this is Core Space is a kind of board / miniatures game. This is one of the guys from Core Space that I'm painting up. So that's another work in progress. I painted up some other ones here, and here's this guy. He's almost done. I got his face. I don't know how well you can see that. If it'll, there you go. It'll zoom in pretty good there. Let me get it out of the way. Let's see. It'll zoom in. I put it on my hand. Trying to get it to zoom in and focus. It's trying. There we go. So you can see he's coming out pretty good. The focus a little blurry. I gotta touch up his hair a little bit. I think I'm gonna put some yellow on his hair and his beard. But he's almost done. Um, Here's the other one as well. It's pretty much done. I got to go over his weapon with some silver, maybe just a few touch ups, put some color on his hair. I don't like the gray hair, but the face tone, face paint, and everything's pretty good. These are core space miniatures. They don't have to be amazing. But here's what happens when you slap chop and you don't put the white undercoat on. Um, I primered these black and then I started painting this one and didn't realize that I didn't put the white undercoat on. Or the zenithal, and so you can see I didn't dry brush it gray or white or whatever. So it's really dark. I don't. You guys can barely make out her hair and her weapon. Um, it's. I'm gonna have to redo that one, but that just tells you, you make mistakes sometimes. And then this is one that's pretty much done. This is an infinity model that I did. I really love the base. I gotta do a dry brush on the base of some yellow to really bring that color out. But yeah, I got the weapon all done. Got everything pretty much looking where I want it to. I got to touch up his hair. I don't have enough light. I can see that now as I'm trying to look at this. Now maybe once I put my little glasses on and see if those make a difference. And it might. I wanted a setup to where I wasn't necessarily, you know, poking on the poking my head into the mirror or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if that makes a little. Yeah, it makes a little difference here with the light shining on it. But you can see his face is a little dark. I want to do some highlights, touch up his hair with a little yellow. Um, but yeah, for the most part, this guy came out pretty darn good. I like him. And this is for nomads. I just gotta do a little tiny touch up, maybe with some red, just to bring out some of the armor and his chest plate. But his legs came out good. Everything else looks really good. And for a slap chop for on the table, I think that's more than good enough. Um, and then this is another one for another game. These are just treasure chests. I'll be using these in Pathfinder. These were 3D printed. I bought them off of Etsy. You can see there with a filament printer. You can see all the heavy lines on them. But they printed up real nice. They printed on the base. I didn't even have to glue them on the base. You can see there's the pretty smooth actually. Yeah, it's pretty tight. But yeah, really nicely done. They were pretty cheap. And I just liked them when I saw them. And also for Frostgrave, you need treasure tokens, so these were perfect. This is a shout out to Mike Wilster, aka Nubby. He sent this to me as a freebie because I was asking I wanted to paint a Space Marine. So of course he sent me the most intricate, toughest one to paint. Thanks, Mike. But yeah, I'm excited. I put them together right before we moved houses, so I need to get him to the paint table and get some paint on him because he looks super cool. Um, but I wanted to actually, like I said, I wanted to get working on this guy, and this is pretty much paint by numbers. So we're literally going to pull everything off. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and we're going to just sit and chill. I wish I had some music or knew how to set up the music, and I can learn. I just haven't had time, so I can get some music on here. I want to make sure I'm under here and you guys can see what I'm doing. Because what's the point of this if you can't see what I'm doing? There we go. I got to remember keep my hands positioned where you guys can see them. Um, so just to remember where to go. And don't cut off his hands. The problem is, for those of you that have never done YouTube, it is really hard to concentrate on two things at once. Is everybody says they can multitask, but let me tell you, until you actually try to do it, it takes some talent and some finesse to do this. And you got to remember to keep everything in frame. I'm using an old laptop. I'm not even sure if it's going to be able to keep up, if it's even going to have enough hard drive space for me to do this. Now that looks like a pen right there, so I don't want to cut that off prematurely. But you want to get everything in here. And always find the closest point. I find that's easiest when you're cutting these off. See, I didn't get that one right there. Pulling them or twisting them is usually not good. So there, that fell off. You want to try and cut it, as close. Some people say cut it close to the sprue. Some people say don't. I think it's all what you're comfortable with. If you know your clippers and kind of where you're cutting or whatever, what you're getting into, I say do what works for you. I'm not going to cut these posts off because I think they're part of the actual miniature. So I want to make sure yeah, it looks like I'm doing okay here. I keep checking the video feed just to make sure I'm not losing anything in the process. A lot of small parts here, but we want to. You always got to find what's the best angle. Sometimes, one way you got to flip these things around and work on them quite a bit. Get them right where you want them. Because if you cut too much or you gouge the model, there's really no good way to go back in and fix it. Sprue goo works really well, and that's where you use you take the parts of the miniature and you drop them in that Tamiya extra thin cement and you just make a little goop. Now this one's really tight. That's just a bad placement on the sprue, so I'm just going to pull it off. So this is the empty sprue. Nothing good to do with that. We could cut it up and use it as sprue goo, but I'm not gonna because I don't need to. I got plenty of sprues laying around. I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on my shears because I don't want to drop those and break them or anything like that. Then I want to look at these pieces. I want to look at them and make sure there's nothing we need to file off or anything. That looks pretty good. Looks like a piece of terrain. I believe I have the base to this miniature floating around somewhere. Yeah, right here. Sorry, I had to get a little sip of the old juicy juice. I don't think that piece goes on there. Maybe it does. We'll see. But you can see right here, there's a little bit of gunk left on. Now, if this was resin, I'd want to be wearing a respirator or at least a filter of some kind, which I do have, because you don't want to breathe in those fumes. Typically, what I like to do is set the pieces I've filed off to the side. I usually, where I snipped it off, I like to give it a little file just to take the burrs off. On these push fits, that's going to make a difference because that's where they're going to connect. So if you have stuff in there or in the way, as you can see, we've trimmed that off. And hopefully everybody can see this okay. And then you want to dry fit everything, obviously. It looks like we're looking pretty good. Here's the shield. I will admit that's a neat shield. We got a little bit of sanding to do right there. And I apologize if you hear some thumping. I have a 7-year-old autistic little boy, and he likes to make noise. He likes to make very repetitive noises, which drives Daddy crazy because I don't like repetitive sounds at all. It's one of the reasons I don't like techno music, because it's that doom, 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 same beat over and over and over again. Just does not go for me. You can see there's a burr there that I'm catching. I could use my hobby knife, but that's the whole point of why I bought these really cool sanding sticks. But every time I sand, it wants to catch on the side. And as you can see, we made it go away. There we go. Nicely sanded. It does rough it up a little bit. So, you want to do your due diligence, look it over. Now, this is the piece I'm worried about. No big deal there. I don't see any rough standing out points, so I think that looks pretty good as well. Here's his shoulder with his arm. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a little, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a couple mold lines there. Those are going to be hard to get out just because of the way the model is made. But they did a pretty good job of, they're on the underside, so you're not going to see them as bad. So I'm not going to try to get rid of them. I'm just going to leave it. But I think otherwise that piece looks pretty solid. And then we've got his leg. And again, his leg is, there's a little burr right there. I don't know if we can get that off or not. Yep, we can. So, yeah, I think we got it. A little bit on his foot. I think we got that pretty good. So yeah, I think we're looking good. And then of course here's his spear. I will admit the spear is redonkulous looking. I like it a lot. Be careful sometimes because you'll see little things like that right there that you'll think that's a defect, but that's actually the leather for his gauntlets. So kind of a little bit confusing if you don't take your time and look at it properly. Um, but in this case, it's a pretty well done model. A little bit of burr. I just like to sand it off. But I think we're looking good. I don't see any other area. Oh, there's a little spot right there. See it right there? And we got it a little bit. Like I said, normally I would go in with a hobby knife and just sand it out, but we got it. All right, so we're looking good. Now, if I was a perfectionist, what I would do is I would go and clean these all up. I would run them under soapy water. Um, but what I want to make sure right now is I want to kind of dry fit them all together and make sure they go together properly. Because this is clearly his hip, so it looks like this is going to go in like that. I don't want to push it all the way together. Yeah, but that's going to go like that. And then his other arm is going to go on there. His head is going to push fit into the back here, I think. I think you can put him either way. Am I looking at that correctly? Yeah, that doesn't go in there. That's going to go like that. Yeah. And then this arm is going to go, that's going to go on that arm. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do, I don't see anything that pops into that side, so I don't think that, yeah, that goes there. So let's get jiggy with it. And we're going to just put a little glue in there like that. Oh, that stuff smells strong. And we're going to push this in all the way in, and you can see it kind of fits in there perfectly. Then we're going to take a little bit of the sprue or the glue, put on there, and I think we're going to push that in there like that. And then it looks like we might have spoke too soon here, kids. So before we put that in there like that, I'm just wondering if that's going to go. How how does that mesh up with that? Or does this leg? Oh, does it go there? Oh, I think it glues on right there. You gotta be kind of tenacious with this and fight with it in the right way. I'm judging that it goes something like that. But this has got to be. You want to push fit these together a little bit more better and see what we're trying to get with here. So I think it's gonna, oh yeah, it goes like that. That kind of meets under there. And see, you gotta kind of mesh it up just right so that it can squeeze in. Oh, there we go. And then this is going to go on like that. Okay, so it's all going to fit in there. I normally would keep a pair of pliers here that I could put this all together. You got to be careful once you put that glue on there too to not touch it, because if you touch it, then you're going to leave fingerprints. Nobody likes fingerprints on their models. The nice part though is that once this all gets in there, it's going to seal it all up. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. We'll put a little bit of glue inside there. Ah, I'm dropping stuff. This stupid seal keeps coming off. I need to glue it down with something. But I like it on there because it makes a final seal. So then we're gonna put this arm in there. Just like that. Oh, it sits in there perfectly. So there we go. Now, we got one last arm to do. We know that's going to fit on there perfectly. So we're just going to put a little... You don't need much of this Tamiya glue either. It sits really solid. Once it's on there, it's on there. And of course, all it does is it melts the plastic together and makes a permanent bond. Now, I'm not going to glue the shield on because I want to be able to paint the shield separately. But as you can see, it would just glue on. We can stick it on, and you can see it fits on there perfectly. That is all in there. I don't think it's going anywhere. I have no problem putting him on his base. It'll go on. Where is he gonna go on? Does he go on like... He can't go on like that. There you go, he goes on like that. So he goes there. We're gonna take a second to put some glue on this. And put it on. Hopefully you guys can still see everything okay. Get this off. Oh, his whole arm came off. Rah. There we go. So that's glued on there. Let's put his arm back on. The nice thing with super glue is it sets in just a couple of minutes. So there's one Stormcast Eternal done. He went together. I didn't, obviously you saw me cut it right off the sprue, so I've clearly not done this one before. We'll just put that on there. Make sure his foot's glued down, push him down a little. I don't want to push too hard. And there we go. One Stormcast Eternal done. So put my regular glasses on. I didn't wear my contacts today. I should have worn those if I was gonna do miniatures. But there you go. What do you guys think? One Stormcast Eternal. I think he looks pretty cool. Going up against the Swamp Goblins. I can make a little diorama or whatever. I think they both look equally cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Stormcast Eternal guy, now that he's all put together, looks pretty solid. The Swamp Goblin looks really cool as well. I have no desire to play Age of Sigmar, nor the miniatures game, nor the role playing game. I like my Warhammer Fantasy role play. Now you could use this as some sort of armored knight in Warhammer Fantasy role play, and that's probably what I'm going to paint him up. I'll slap chop him, but. That's really all I got for tonight, guys. I just wanted to spend a little time, put some miniatures together real quick, and show you my hobby table. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. Oh, let's turn him around. I got to remember the screen is opposite. There he is, and I'll put the swamp goblin right next to him. There you go. I'm pretty happy with my setup here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I might need to tweak the audio a little bit more, speak up a little bit more. I don't know. We've got to play with it by ear. But I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, like and subscribe really helps the channel. And all that fun stuff. I hope you, like I said, you enjoyed it. And as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says be nice.